Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. It has been a long time coming. Welcome to episode 3 of
Harder, better, faster.
Adamantium Rage.
That's a little bit better, I suppose? Whatever. So, this being episode 3, let's finally get back to the one game I said a while ago I was finally going to sit down and review and talk about, and that is Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the video game.
Spawn was developed by Yuki Yado and published by Sony Electronic Publishing, but Acclaim was the distributor, but despite that, their name appears all over the box. Released in 1995, Spawn, the video game, is a side-scrolling action game with some platforming elements.
Okay, so for anybody who's been following, I did a 2-part, pretty quick Let's Play of this. I have already recorded nearly an additional hour of other footage that I did. I was going to see about trying to progress through the rest of the game, but there are some levels of difficulty, too many, in fact, to this game for me to be able to beat it legitimately. Where do I even begin?
The story is pretty simple. 13 children have been abducted, and the 13th child is Cyan, Spawn's ex-wife's daughter. Some rogue angel is using the souls of the children to make an orb of pure light to destroy Malbolgia, the ruler of Hell and Spawn's maker, who Spawn himself would like to see dead. But while he is using this, as long as he has it, the children will remain in a form of a coma, and once the orb is obviously used, the children will die. And so Spawn must set out and stop him, and try to get the souls back.
The game's controls are not very good. They're a little bit spotty. I'm not sure if that's because of the FC3 Plus controller that I'm having to use, or if that's on the game.
You can punch and kick with 2 different light and heavy attacks, and a few other attacks based on how you move the controller. You can also block enemy attacks too. You can jump, float, wall jump, and use Spawn's magic.
The attacks, hit detection, movement, and button presses at times feel a bit laggy and just not very good. To perform any kind of dash, you have to press forward on the controller twice in order to activate it, and you sometimes have to do it quite a few times in order for it to actually work. There are just too many attacks, and since your enemies will fall and then get back up, often requiring multiple hits, it tends to make the combat really tedious at times. The way magic works is, you have a green meter at the very top of your screen, and every time you use magic, it consumes this meter, but at the end of some boss fights, you tend to get a lot of energy back. This meter also works as your continue or your live screen as well. So as long as you don't use a lot of magic, you can probably get through the whole game with it. And the magic is especially a pain to get working. You have to press and hold the block button, and then perform a Street Fighter-like half circle and such on the control pad, and then press a punch or kick button. But every time I try to do this, the spell will not work, just making it incredibly frustrating. But for me, at some point, because I couldn't get the spells to work at all, and once you figure out the boss's patterns, you can just button mash them and beat them that way anyway, rendering the magic kinda useless. I've only managed to get about as far as getting into Hell and fighting a second boss form, but after that, just out of pure frustration with the controls and the tedious boss fights and the magic not really being able to work, there were just far too many times where I would be playing, trying to get through it, and there is a password system that can allow you to continue or skip levels, but I would prefer to try and beat the game legitimately. But because of all the frustrating enemies, the fact that I can't get the magic to work, and all the button mashing tactics and all of it, and then the controller just not working. It's just... God! No, you... Fuck! That ultimately I would just quit out of pure frustration.
I will say this as positive notes. The game does look good. It certainly plays smoothly enough. There's no real problems. There's no slowdown or anything like that. It does feel a bit repetitive at times. The platforming is not very good. The story is pretty thin, but Alright, so let's move on to the final thoughts here at the end of this video. Todd McFarlane's Spawn the video game. For anybody who's forgotten, my rating system goes from 1 to 10. I think I would have to give this game maybe a 5 out of 10. I would probably say 4 out of 10, but it does look good, it does play well enough, the graphics look good, and I do love Spawn. But this game is just not very good. Well, until next time, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode of Adamantium Rage. If you did, don't be afraid to hit the like or subscribe button. And stay tuned next time when I will be delving into familiar territory. See ya.